In this video, we are going to learn how to use ER Assistant in order to draw and verify ER diagrams. The example that we are going to use is the Highline University data model that we have previously seen in the textbook. However, in order to make this video short and simple, we are going only to use a part of this diagram that includes the three entities: department, professor, and appointment, noticing that appointment is a weak entity. Let us now go to ER Assistant. In ER Assistant, in order to start a new diagram or a new project, we can either click on this new icon or go to File and click on New, and we will have an empty page where we can add our entities and relationships. Now let us add our three entities. We can either click on this entity icon or go to Insert and click on Entities, and now we can add a new entity. Our new entity is the department entity, and it is a regular entity and it is not a subtype entity. The second entity is the professor entity, which is also a regular entity and not a subtype entity. However, the third entity, which is the appointment entity, is a weak entity. Now, if I close this window, I will have my three entities that I can move, and notice that the notation of ER Assistant is to put these lines on the corners of a weak entity, such as appointment. Now let us create these three relationships, and we have the first relationship is between department and professor. It's a one-to-one relationship, optional on the department side, mandatory on the professor side, and then we have two identifying relationships between department and appointment on one side and professor and appointment on the other side. These are one-to-many relationships and mandatory to mandatory relationships. So in order to create the first relationship, we can either click on the relationship icon here or go to Insert, Relationships, click on New. So the first relationship is between, as we said, department and professor. It is a one-to-one relationship. It is optional on the department side and mandatory on the professor side. The relationship name is chairs by, and it is a regular relationship. The next relationship does not have a name, so we will keep the name relationship 3 here, but we will add here, it is between department and appointment. It is a one-to-many relationship, mandatory to mandatory, and it is an identifying relationship. The third relationship is, again, does not have a name, and it is between professor and appointment. It is a one-to-many relationship, mandatory to mandatory, and it is identifying. Now if I close this window, I will have all my three relationships. I can move them to make the diagram more readable, and then I can verify the ER diagram. So I can click on this check diagram icon, and I will have two completeness errors that say that we do not have primary keys for our entities, which is something that we know because we are working on an abstract ER diagram. However, we don't have any consistency errors. So this is the end of this video where we learned how to use ER Assistant.